the long-faced one, the infinitely patient one. Zeir Anpin is the short-faced one, almost even the short-tempered one. Why would God create what's called a partsuf out of Tiferet, Chesed, Gvur, Tiferet, and Netzah, Hod, Yesod, the 6 sfirot of here, the relational sfirot? Why would they be called Zeir Anpin in relationship to Arich Anpin, long, very merciful, full of love, oh so much full of love. I am a grandfather. I give sweets to my grandchildren. Daddy, why are you giving sweets to the grandchildren? I have to take them to the dentist. I was a parent once. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm a granddaddy now. I give sweets to my grandchildren. But daddy and mommy, they have to take care of the children and the level of boundaries. They have to limit their mercy in order to have true mercy. Because if they would have the mercy of grandma and grandpa, that's not really love. I have to give boundaries to my kids. I have to give them a form within which they can develop and know what's right and what's wrong. That's not grandpa and grandma's job. If God would only reveal himself as grandpa and grandma, then we would never really develop. There has to be Zeir Anpin. There has to be responsibility, or what I call the school of accountability. This is not accounting school. This is the school of accountability. That we have to become accountable. And when we do, then we go up. And Zeir Anpin grows up to Arich Anpin. And we become complete. So this is what this text is about. Know that every Zeir Anpin and Nukva, again, so Arich Anpin, one more thing before the text. It's beautiful. Listen to this. Now, Arich Anpin, Kabbalists are always going in circles. This is very useful. You can do it on your own computer. Yud K Vav K. It goes from the top to the bottom and from the bottom to the top and up and down. It's a flow. It's a flow of energy from that which is beyond anything you know. This corresponds to Keter in the Sfirot and Arich Anpin in the Partsufim. It's all encompassing. All of this is taking place within this. These are subsystems within this great Partsuf called Arich Anpin. This is Atzilut. This is Chochmah, corresponding to Chochmah in the Sfirot, and corresponding to Abba, Daddy. But it's a higher level of Daddy, until we get down to here, Mommy. This is called Abba Ve'ima Ilaim, supernal father and supernal mother. These are called two friends who never part. Up here, Grandpa and Grandma are so one that they're not even distinguishable. Male and female are so one that there's not even a distinction yet. This is the first possibility of distinction, but they're called two friends who never part. The right brain and left brain, corresponding to Abba and Ima, mother and father and mother, Chochmah and Bina. They always work in tandem. They're two friends who never part. So it's two, but still they're always working together. Then you get down to the possibility of separation, of son and daughter. Zeir Anpin and Nukva, or Shechina, are the son and the daughter, corresponding to Tiferet and Malchut, of Abba and Ima. But here there's the possibility where they're separate and they can't marry each other because they're not worthy at first. They have to develop each other. And then something happens. Spiritually, it cannot happen physically. We're not allowed to marry our sisters and brothers. But these two marry. And this is the secret of Song of Songs, where it says, Achoti Kala, my sister, my bride. Right? How can you have a sister and she be your bride at the same time? Well, in spiritual terms, this is what happens. The Zeir Anpin marries Nukva. They get married. That's called the unification of Kuchabrichu v'Shchinte. The Holy One, blessed be He, and His indwelling presence. They get married, just like we got married, and we become Mommy and Daddy. And then after menopause, Mommy and Daddy are never physically separate anymore, and also become more attuned to each other. We're reversing the process. This was unity that had no expression of male-female separation. Here's the separation of male-female. Here's male-female in a total exile redemption process. Nida, an-nida. Nida, an-nida. We can be together, but we got to be apart. We have to be apart because we can't be together all the time. We're connected, but we have to feel apart. You're up there and we're down here, and we feel that there's a duality. What will be revealed, my translation of L'Shem Yichud Kudsha B'Risa U'Shchinte, is not just for the sake of the unification of the Holy One Blessed Be He and His Shechina, but for the sake of the revelation of the inbuilt, unexpressed, of the hidden unity. For the sake of the revelation of the concealed or hidden unity of these two. They're really one. It was one all the time, but it had to seem like they were two, so that we could put them back together. And when we do, we get married, and we become Abba and Ima, and we become two friends who never part. And there's no more exile between us, and there's no more fights between us. They're really, even the fights that we have, even quote unquote, the disagreements that mommy and daddy have at that level, we're much more mature now. We know that fighting is not a tooth and nail thing. We got to grow out of that initial thing where when we first get married, we disagree with each other and almost divorce. We've gone over those bumps. We got to be together now. We have to care for each other in the deepest way and have the joy of our children and grandchildren. That's mommy and daddy. And then we become grandma and grandpa, and we're totally one again. I wanted to bring this out to you, that the process starts in oneness, manifests into multiplicity, and then it becomes our part to come back. It's beautifully implied in this ladder or vertical array of the God's name. Now we're going back into our text. Know that every Zeir Anpin and Nukva of every universe make up only the lower 7 Sfirot. There's 10 Sfirot, so from here, let's say from here down, or from here down, will be the 7 lower Sfirot. Right, left, middle, right, left, middle, and ground. That's the Zeir Anpin and Nukva. Or sometimes it's said from here down. There's different ways to present it. It's not important right now. Know that every Zeir Anpin and Nukva of every universe make up only the lower 7 Sfirot and constitute the body or the goof of that particular universe. This is the result of the way they were made when Atzilut was first reconstituted into a system of Partufim. In other words, we started out with a broken world of broken Sfirot. God put everything together with this hit kashrut, the hit kalalut, this interconnectedness and inter-inclusiveness where we all become connected. We became full Partufim. The only problem was Zeir Anpin was created without mochin, without the higher levels of Keter Chochmah Bina or Chochmah Bina and Dat. He only has the emotive Sfirot. Only 6 Sfirot. I.e., with only 6 Sfirot from Chesed to Yesod. And Nukva was created without the 9 Sfirot from Keter Yesod. I.e., with only Malchut. She's only Malchut of Malchut. They were created purposely imperfect and lacking. It is for this reason that these 2 Partufim require 3 periods of growth, namely gestation, pregnancy, infancy to adolescence, that is to say nursing, right, and then growing out of nursing to adolescence, and finally to maturity, which is to reach, for each of them to become a Partuf Shalem, that each one of them becomes a system of 10 Sfirot, with all their Keter, Chochmah, and Bina. We're all born incomplete, right? We're all born without the tools that we need to develop our potential.